what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and today I'm doing the countdown to Bookmas day 11. Not enough fingers. Today is a super fun video because I'm going to talk about some books that I don't see talked about a lot on Booktube. Basically, my recommendations of underrated books. I will go ahead and get a couple of books that I personally talk about a little too much out of the way, and we could jump into ones that I don't talk about. The first series is The Tiger's Curse Saga by Colleen Houck. The last book is supposedly out now, but I consider it a 4-book saga. This is about Kelsey, who goes to work at a circus and feels feels a connection to this tiger. And the tiger's handler takes him to India and invites her to come along with them, and she goes to India and finds out that the tiger is actually an Indian prince who has been cursed, and she has to spend the summer helping them break the curse, and it is so much fun. This is basically the embodiment of YA romance and romantic fantasy. There is definitely a lot of romance in here, but there's also a lot of mythology, like Indian mythology, which is really interesting. And I just love this book so much. I love the series, the saga, whatever you want to call it. I love it. Highly recommended. I don't think it's talked about enough. The next book I have is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This is about a man who works at a carnival. There's a theme here. He works at a carnival, and one of the rides breaks and is about to fall on this boy, but he pushes the boy out of the way and it falls on him instead and he dies. And that's not a spoiler, it happens in the first chapter, or like the first couple pages really. And then he goes to heaven and he then meets the 5 people that have influenced his life, or whose lives he has influenced the most. And it's so heartwarming and it makes you think, and you'll be thinking about it for days. I read this years ago and I still think about it to this day. I really want to reread it now that I am talking about it, but I highly recommend this if you want a nice, short contemporary that will make you think. And the last book that I have talked about on my channel before is Where They Found Her by Kimberly McCrae. This is an adult mystery thriller, more mystery than thriller. But basically it's a baby is found dead in the woods, and it is in the point of view of several different people actually. But the main point of view is a journalist, I want to say. Yes, she's a journalist, and she's trying to piece together what happened and whose child it is, because nobody knows. And you get the point of view of other people that you don't know how they're connected until they end, and all the storylines just weave together so seamlessly into one story arc, and it is just fantastic. Highly recommend this. And there's tons of news articles, well, not really tons, but there are news articles, online discussion boards, everything. It is a lot of fun, very interactive, and I highly recommend it as well. Next is a book I actually just finished, and I'm going to take a whole video and just talk about this book because it blew my mind, and I don't know why people aren't talking about it, but that is And the Trees Crept In by Don Kurtagich. This book completely destroyed me. I finished it last night, and for the next few hours, I couldn't think about anything else. I was going to try to pick up another book, but I just couldn't, because all I could think about was this book and the ending, and why aren't people talking about this book? Someone tell me if there's something I'm missing, because I feel like this would be, I don't know, it was so mind-blowing. I never expected the ending. I can't, and there's creepy as heck, journal entries, little drawings, and scratches in the floor, and it's just, I mean, it's crazy, and I'm so glad I picked this up, because it probably would have sat here forever if I had not drawn it out of my TBR glasses or whatever. Oh my, this book was so good. The next book, I do have a couple on here that I really enjoyed, and I do think they're underrated, but they're also not my favorites. One of those is The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is a standalone YA fantasy, which you don't see very often, and basically it's about a world where demons can grant wishes, but in exchange they take body parts. Our main character makes a wish from a demon who takes hearts, and the way it was done was really interesting, I think. I loved this. I read it so fast in like one sitting, and the ending tore my heart out. No pun intended. Tore my heart out, stomped on it, and it was just wonderful. I highly recommend this if you love like YA fantasy with quite a bit of romance thrown in. Highly recommend it. Next I have a middle grade. I think it's a middle grade. It could be very young YA, but I think it's middle grade. I read it in junior high. I got out of my junior high school library. It is a series. It is called the Shadow Children series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Basically, it is a dystopian set in a world where parents are only allowed to have 2 children, and if you have any more, then they're sentenced to death. And basically, it takes place in the point of view of these third and children who have like run away from home, and they're in a secret school, and it's really good. Next I have The Girl Who Was Supposed to Die by April Henry. This is a young adult mystery thriller, and basically it's about this girl who wakes up in a cabin blindfolded, you know, tied up, and she has no memory of who she is, how she got there, what's going on. And then one of the men holding her hostage says to go out back and kill her, and it was so good. It was so gripping. I actually listened to this one on audiobook, which I highly recommend because the narrator was fantastic. I loved this so much. I could not stop listening to it, and it's really short, so it didn't take me that long to listen to it, and I just love it. Next I have one that's by a very popular author, but I don't ever hear this book talked about, and that is Crazy House by James Patterson. This is a dystopian, like a dystopian mystery, which I don't think I've ever read a dystopian mystery. So each town is its own cell, and it has one like ruler, one guy in charge for each town. And in this particular one, if you don't like follow the rules and you're labeled like a troublemaker, then you just disappear. They come for you in the middle of the night, take you away, and you never come back. They say they're taking them to get like an attitude adjustment, but only one person has ever come back from that, and she was completely changed. Basically her mind was like wiped clean. And this one is about Becca and Cassie. Becca is known as the good girl. She always follows the rules, does everything she's told. Cassie is taken and taken in the middle of the night. Becca decides that it is time to stop following the rules, and she goes to find her sister. But I mean, there's so much more than that, and I can't explain it without ruining like what happens. But when I picked this up, I did not know it was dystopian. I thought it was just mystery, and it was not. The ending was definitely not the best part of the book. I will warn you, the ending took it away, lowered my rating a little bit, just because it's very, very open ending. It's not a bad ending, like nothing crazy bad happens that just like ruin the book, but it's very open, and it leaves it open to interpretation of what happens next. If there is a sequel, then my rating will go back up, but if not, I'm pretty sure I gave this 4 out of 5 stars though, so it was still really good. And the last one is a series, and that is the Elementals series by Bridget Kimmerer. And I really enjoyed myself with this series. There's actually one more that I haven't read yet. But if you enjoyed the Obsidian, it's not Obsidian, by Jennifer L. Armentrout, like it has obsidian, onyx, opal, I think. If you enjoyed that series, you will enjoy this one as well. I love this. So instead of aliens, they're elementals. Basically, they control elements. Each one is in one of the Merrick brothers' point of views. This is about Chris, who controls water. This one is about Gabriel, who controls fire. This one is LGBT representation. This one is about Nick. He controls wind. He also has a crush on a guy, and it's wonderful. And this one is Spirit, and this one is actually not one of the Merrick brothers. This is Hunter Garrity, who controls, like, spirit. I don't really know how to explain it. It's better if you just read the book. But he's one of the friends, and he plays an important role in the other book, so I won't spoil that. These are just a few of books that I loved or really, really enjoyed that I don't see talked about at all. If you have any like that that you would like to recommend, please let me know, because I'm always loving to find. That's not a thing. I always love to find new books, so you should let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I post videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, but of course, you're getting a video almost every day in December. So hit that subscribe button or that little bell icon to be notified every time a video goes up. I will leave all my links and the schedule to Bookmas down below for you guys, and as always, I'll talk to you next time. Bye!